Okay, hello there. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Bizarcast. I'm Cuthbertson. You might know me from my regular contributions to the Bizarchives. I've got the Cosmic Horror double feature, got Count Corella, Tanner's Gold, and I do a bit of the editing and story selection, stuff like that. I've been on an episode of this very podcast before, the Bizarcast, but for this edition, we thought we'd flip the script a bit. Since Dave is at the helm of this project, he never gets to play the interviewee. He's always interviewing somebody else. So this time it's going to be me interviewing the one and only Dave Martel. I'll let Dave introduce himself. Off you go, man.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Mr. AC. Yeah, you guys already know. Editor-in-chief, Bizarchives, one half of Culture Dads, but Bizarcast, host of The Bog, all that kind of stuff. Bizarchives.com, follows Twitter and Telegram at the Bizarchives. Go over to the obelisk.substack.com, sign up. Free ebooks for $5 a month, all that good stuff. Bizarchives 3 just dropped. Willows just dropped. Chronicles of Heraldria just dropped. So go over to the bizarchives.com and go get you some copies.
Hell yeah, I've read The Willows and I can confirm it's an excellent story. Everyone who likes weird fiction should read that at least once. And Chronicles of Heraldria is also amazing. I'm busy reading through that. Excellent book. So yeah, make sure you grab yourself a copy.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Right, so this episode we're going to talk about all your stuff. I mean, everyone knows you, everyone knows your stuff, everyone knows you're the figurehead of this project. And whenever you appear on somebody else's podcast, you usually get to talk a bit about Lex, but you have to talk about all the other stuff too. You know, I mean, you usually you get to drop a few words about him, but you never get to drill that deep. So we'll drill a bit deeper into Lex this episode, and you've got a whole host of other work that we're going to talk about as well. You got some like super dark sci-fi stories. You got some weird poetry.
Yep.
You got a bunch of other stuff, man, that I don't think you get the opportunity to talk about. So that's why we thought we'd flip the script this time. So we'll start. Tell us a bit more in depth about your character, Lucius Lex. Let's go.
So Lex is okay. So where do I start? Okay. So when I create a character, the sort of what happens is their personality kind of percolates up into my brain first. I start to hear how they talk. This might sound kind of crazy. This might sound a little crazy. But I can hear their voice first. Not actually, they're not like talking to me or anything. So don't go calling the authorities or anything like that.
We're all skills here, it's fine.
I hear I start to develop their quirks. Their personality starts to flesh out. I want to, their accent, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And from there, it kind of like radiates out what motivates them, what they look like, all of this kind of stuff. I kind of start from the inside and work out with these characters is how I describe it. But, Lex worked like this too, but he was a little bit different. Lex exists in a setting that was made before I started making him, right? He is from a setting called Grim Earth, and this is a tabletop game setting that I've created. It was out for a little bit in beta test. We're still working on it. It'll be out sometime. I can't tell you when it's going to be done, but it'll be done sometime. And this world is effectively a grimdark 16th century place. The story is there are these people that left their homeland continent that they don't remember. They ended up on this bizarre, haunted realm, and it's almost like Ravenloft for the guys that are familiar with like old school Dungeons and Dragons. Is they're kind of trapped in this place. They can't leave. It's haunted. It's full of monsters and demons and weird stuff, and that's it. They're kind of at the mercy of all of the evil forces that are in this place. Excuse me. And they kind of have to carve out survival there. Well, in this world, I wanted to create a hero, like a kind of like their Conan or their Solomon Kane or, their whatever, their hero. And I wanted to create a hero that was like reflective of this kind of world. There are a lot of really great heroes out there, But there's a lot of heroes I think are, I don't even want to get into knocking on here. Lex is his own thing. He's shaped by his world, and uh, what I wanted to create here was where Conan kind of represents freedom, masculine freedom to be more specific. Uh, Lex represents revenge. He is revenge. He is the manifestation of, and he says it, I think in one of the books, he says, I am wrath on foot, vengeance made flesh, is how he describes himself. And that's what he is. He is a manifestation of a hopeless people that are sick and tired of being scared, that are sick and tired of being at the mercy of evil. And Lex is mankind's monster to go up and clash fearlessly into the forces of evil in the name of humanity. And I wanted him to not just be a manifestation of the people that inhabit this world, but also a manifestation of people today that are reading it. A lot of people feel hopeless today. They feel discouraged. They feel disenfranchised. They feel that there's nobody that stands up for them. They feel that there's nobody that will fight for them. Nobody represents them. They have nobody on their side. And while they read Lucius Lex, when they read the Lex stories, they can feel like there's somebody out there that could be on their side, right? And he's kind of the manifestation of the revenge that's in the hearts of people today, the resent and the vengeance and the frustration of people that are reading Lex today. And that is what I wanted to create. And I don't like some people describe him as an anti-hero, and I guess you could say that in some ways. I don't like this distinction. I reject the hero anti-hero dichotomy. I think there are just heroes. So what I wanted to create when I created Lex is I wanted to create a hero that was part of a world that was extremely bleak and extremely hopeless, and what he would be like. And I wanted him to be believable and relatable and be very human. And I kind of put some of myself in with him. He doesn't really, he's not really like this like dashing, likable, happy guy. He is a big, mean, like orphaned, wandering, exterminator of evil that has one goal in mind. He is not like Conan, where he's out like being swashbuckling and exploring and doing all this kind of stuff, and he's kind of in it for himself and his own freedom and everything. Lex has the duty. I am here to exterminate evil and rain suffering upon that which has made my people suffer, and I will do it every single day until I am dead. And that's what he does. And he doesn't care about like he's kind of he doesn't really care about laws. Really, laws are only good if they serve his purpose. If they kind of get in his way, he's willing to break them. He's kind of his own guy. I don't really like to say he's like this or he's like that or whatever. Lex is Lex. And that's what I kind of set out to create when I made him. And there's a lot of kind of characters that went into inspiring him. Obviously Conan. You can't have a sword and sorcery character without him being a son of the mighty Conan. Solomon Kane, because not just the character of Solomon Kane and his obligation to his duty and his faith, but also because of the technology level of Solomon Kane. I'm very fascinated by the war technology of the 16th, 17th century, kind of that middle period between the late Middle Ages and the Age of Sail, where you have knights in armor, full armor, running around on horseback, that kind of stuff. And then you also have the advent of gunpowder. So you have cannons going off, you have cavalry charges, you have pikemen, you kind of have this crazy gonzo mix match of periods in between. And I really find that period fascinating. So I in the Lex story, you will find guys that have matchlock rifles or muskets, I should say. You will find cannons. There's primitive explosives. primitive artillery. There's all kinds of stuff in there. So it's like there's a lot to it, and there's also they uncover this antediluvian civilization that predates them by many tens of thousands of years, and I could go into all that kind of stuff. But Lucius Lex in himself is mankind's monster, and his entire purpose of being here is to make those who have hurt his people, to make them suffer and to bring them to justice without mercy. Some of the characters, like I said, that went into influencing him, obviously the Howard characters. Another character would have been Deckard from Blade Runner, in like kind of like as like a an investigator and a hunter and kind of this offbeat sort of a noir kind of taste in there. A really huge one is Judge Dredd. I love Judge Dredd.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
He is the law, right? In Mega City, where the citizens are at the mercy of the criminal element, he is the law. And if he pulls up and you're doing something wrong, you will be brought to justice. And there's nothing you can do to stop it. You might as well fall on your knees and beg for mercy. And that's what I wanted. I love Judge Dredd. And that's what I wanted to create a sword and sorcery Judge Dredd and all of this kind of stuff. So
nice. So is he like kind of is he like wandering around and like just sort of tackling evil as he comes to it, or is he like hunting it out? Does he like know where evil deeds are happening and make a beeline straight for them, or is he just like kind of wandering, looking?
It's all of the above. Sometimes he gets called up. So in this Lex story I'm working on now, he actually gets called up by a priest whose daughter was abducted and went missing, and it's suspected to be like this human trafficking ring. And Lex is actually called up to go investigate this, and it turns out to be far worse than anybody could imagine. But he goes in and he does his Lex thing. He kicks in the door and he delivers justice to these evil players in this plot.
Nice.
Yeah,
so it's kind of like the manifestation of vengeance for all the like wronged humans in his own world, but also in the reader's world.
Exactly.
Very cool, very cool. And there is something so cool about that setting as well. That time period, like glorious cavalry charges into like cannon fire and lines of musket fire and all that stuff. It's just you can just imagine it, can't you? Like you're almost there. You can hear the screams. You can hear the horses whinnying. You can hear the booms of the cannons and stuff. It's just awesome.
It must have been pandemonium.
Absolutely, yeah. Like hell on earth, which is basically exactly the setting you're going for, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Grim Earth.
Yep, Grim Earth. And a lot of people ask about because it kind of seems like I'm like every story I kind of like just give him random powers. And to clarify on that, I don't just give him random powers. He has very as you guys have read in the stories, he's an orphaned member, the last of a knightly priestly order. And his father and the remaining members of this order all perished in a final last stand in this great cataclysm. And he's the last one walking around. He never met his father. His father died when he was like a baby. So he was like raised, just reading the literature that his father left behind, his father's journals, wore his father's plate mail. And he has kind of that divine essence that comes with his lineage that he can do. Rick says lay on hands. Yeah, he effectively has a version of lay on hands, but I did it differently because I don't like the idea of like what modern McFantasy does, where you drink a magic potion and you could be completely like crushed by a boulder and your body could be pulverized. You drink this potion and then boop, you're back to how it was. I hate that. So Lex's lay on hands to me is more realistic. Is that if you get really injured, he heals you, and there is scarification. There, he using magic mends your ligaments and your bones and your stuff back together, and it's not the same. It puts you back together. It's like if you got surgery, like if you got skin grafted or whatever, you're gonna have scars. You're gonna have some pain. You're gonna maybe have walk funny or like whatever. There's going to be leftover results of that. And him after being in hundreds of battles, has healed himself many, many, many times, and that like screws him up. His life is constant pain. That's why he's always like, there's the theme of him looking for a hot bath. The only thing that soothes him is a hot bath and some liquor, right? There's not really anything that can do it. So that's why he's kind of grumpy and grouchy all the time. It's because he's just in pain, right? He doesn't, and also he doesn't, his lineage, he doesn't know this, but it has given him, it has extended his life. He doesn't know how long he's going to live, right? So has this really strong relationship with his own mortality, and that goes into his kind of impatience and stuff like that. Also, he has a lot of like little other tricks. Like in the one story, he throws exploding acorns.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
Acorn grenades. That was so cool. I love
yeah.
that.
I actually got that. You ever see the movie Willow?
I didn't. I remember talking to you about this at the time, and you
Mhm.
were like, "Yeah, it's from Willow." I was like, "Oh shit, I
Yep,
must watch that
I
film.
borrowed it from Willow because I love that movie so much.
I must watch that."
But his most obviously his most important power is that he's just massive. He's like 7 feet tall, 300 something. Picture a guy with the body of the wrestler Big Show, but agile, right? He's athletic, he's freakishly large, and on top of it, he has an ability that is called sight. And what sight is it has a few different functions. Sight allows him to see right through like illusions or false forms of shapeshifters or whatever. If you guys read The Odd Village, where he's like banging that hooker, and then she's like, "Oh, you're a real man" or whatever. And he's like, "Yeah, well, you're not real." Like, and then he just like kills her, right? In the story, it kind of sounds like what is this psycho doing? He's killing this girl or whatever, and it's because he doesn't really like see her true form, but he knows that it's not her true form. And this also goes into he can like sense like what you're gonna do before you're gonna do it. So it's not that he can like see into the future or anything, but he has this innate knowledge that that how you're gonna swing before you swing. So he gets like a split second of reaction. So that's why his reaction time is so good. But it doesn't always work. He's still a human being. He gets stabbed up a lot. He gets hurt a lot. He makes mistakes. He gets outsmarted. It happens.
Yeah, he goes down into hell in the latest one, doesn't he? He gets kind of like he's like kind of tricked, captured. He ends up in hell, and he's in a cage and shit, and he's got to fight his way out of that one and fight his way out of hell.
Yep.
It's awesome. Yeah. So I think you've had the opportunity to talk about like the Odd Village and the Lost Girl quite a lot, but since Lex conquers hell is the newest story, and it's in the newly released Bizarchives 3, you haven't had much of a chance to talk about that one, have you?
No, not really.
Awesome. That's what that awesome cover art is. If you've seen the cover to Bizarchives 3,
Yeah,
with
shout out Arturi Cavella.
that is, yeah. He's an awesome artist. That is just it's different when you're holding the book in your hand. That gore is flying out of the page. I swear
Yeah,
down. That is like 3D gore. Some demon getting his wings ripped off. You're like, oh, that's
Yeah.
fucking awesome, man. The story's even more grisly and gory.
Yeah.
Fully recommended. That one gets you excited, man. It's fucking great story.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, I wrote that one because I was watching I can't even remember. It was like what was it? I was watching this. It was like a foreign movie. It was about some sort of exorcism, and it wasn't a very good movie. But it kind of clicked something in my brain. Is that whenever characters are dealing with demonic entities, it's usually very fearful. They're very powerless against them, and it's something that my grandparents were Catholics, and it was something that was they were very fearful of this. Right, my grandmother used to like put curtains over mirrors because she was scared that demons could, they really believe this stuff. They were very fearful of demonic influence in this world.
Yeah, I know people like that. I know people who sort of turn around their dress mirrors and stuff. They'll only turn them around when they need to like see how their clothes fit or something.
Yeah,
They can
exactly.
turn around the whole rest of the time. Like, yeah, that persists today.
So I was like, there are demons in my world is kind of like Grim Earth has demons, but also has trolls, and it has all of these kind of like this like mishmash of European understanding of malefic entities, right? So when I was watching that, I was thinking like, Like, what if there was somebody that the demons were scared of from our side? And I was like, I'm gonna send Lex. You know, I wanted the demon to have a fuck around and find out moment, right? I want him. The demon's name is Yaltsnalek, which is a word I completely like made up. But he
Yeah.
goes to find this. He gets word to investigate this possession. He goes in. There's this like effete kind of like douchey like merchant. All of the you're gonna notice there's a theme. I really hate up jump merchants in real life, and I think that they are completely undeserving of their seats. So you will always in my writing see this reoccurring theme of undeserving up jump merchants because I hate them in real life. I've had to deal with them. I know what they're like. The corpo big wigs, they're like not even like human beings to me. So I always have them getting beat up and abused and brutalized by stories. I just hate those people.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So he goes in, and there's this up jump merchant, calls himself Lord Emmerich, right? Or Emmerich. And he's like, he finds out that, he's like, so what's going on here? I've heard word that you were doing some black magic type shit. And he's like, no, my daughter's sick. We need, we need what did he say? We need an apothecary, not some sort of whatever you're offering. And the lights, the lamps flare up and the place shakes and all this. He's like, oh, okay. So she's sick. I've never heard of a fever doing this. Right. And then the guy tries to stop him. He sends his goons. Lex beats the crap out of him. And he goes up and sees the girl, and she's completely possessed, like the movie The Exorcist, that kind of thing. And I don't want to spoil too much, but he interacts with a demon, and the demon tricks him, and he tricks the demon, and then the demon tricks him back, and he ends up in the underworld, in hell, which is called Mirkwood. And when he's in Mirkwood, he ends up in a cage, and Yaltsnalek is there and is mocking him. And then that's where the demon finds out. He fucked around, and then he finds out. And
Yeah,
Lex,
we'll leave it there in case
yeah,
you spoil it for people who
yeah,
haven't read it yet. But yeah, that is a seriously awesome story.
thank you.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, looking forward to seeing where Lex goes next as well. I think you mentioned it briefly before, but yeah, I think you've got a whole bunch of stories planned out, right? You've got a whole bunch of places that Lex can go.
Yeah, I probably have 6 or 7 unfinished Lex stories, and I have 2
Nice.
finished ones that I'm kind of messing around with.
Yeah, maybe someday we'll see a Lex sort of compilation, right? Like
Yep.
yeah,
And also a novella. I have a novella that I've been kind of chipping away at. It's gonna be my first long form fiction work. It's gonna be called Grim Earth Shall Burn, and it's like the most apocalyptic, wide scale Lex story I've written so far.
nice. Some Lex Ragnarok stuff. That sounds brilliant.
Yeah, yeah. Rick says Lex goes to Hollywood. That would be a bloodbath.
I don't think Lex would see much that he likes in Hollywood, would he? There's demons everywhere. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Merchants everywhere.
yeah.
Yeah, and it was interesting how you talk about that like kind of method acting angle at the start there, how you sort of get into the character's head, sort of adopt some of the mannerisms and stuff. That's a really cool method of writing. That's something I haven't tried myself, but that sounds amazing. It must be like a total idea factory if you're like kind of walking around as this character sometimes, and then like, yeah, that
It's
just sounds really cool.
it's really weird how um it's really weird how I come up like sometimes I'll just be in a conversation with a stranger, and they'll have some sort of weird quirky thing about them. How they talk, maybe like how they pronounce something, could be like some sort of mannerism that they do, could be anything, could be watching a movie and like whatever, it could be like anything. And that like that plants a seed and turns into a whole personality in my head.
Awesome. That'll like really help you flesh out characters, make them more human. That's really cool. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think we've covered Lex. We can't talk about Lex a lot, but I think one, you've got all these like super dark science fiction stories. I think one of them was in
Mhm.
Bizarchives 1. I
Yeah.
don't think you get as much opportunity to talk about those. They're like always creepy and incredibly dark, just like the darkest possible sci-fi sometimes. There's some horrible things happen to people in these stories, and I love them. I think that's
Oh,
some of your
thank
best work, to be honest. I really like them, and I think quite a few of them haven't been released yet.
you. Yeah.
But I've read them when I've been helping out with editing and stuff. But definitely, They Never Woke Up was in Bizarchives 1,
Yep.
and that's a sweet story. I was wondering if kind of like shares a universe with other ones, or
Yep. It does.
yeah,
Um, yeah, my sci-fi stuff, it gets a little bit overshadowed by my Lex stuff because people
yeah,
just, you know, and I'm not at all complaining. I'm very humbled. I didn't even know if I was going to be a good writer, and I get a lot of feedback from people that really love the Lex character. So it's like I'm very blessed and humbled by everybody's kindness and support and everything like that. But um, the Lex sort of overshadows my sci-fi stuff. I think because sword and sorcery is just it's a grim dark sword and sorcery. It's hard to beat that. You know what I mean? But
absolutely.
and sci-fi is not as popular as it once was. But there are people that reach out and say that they like the sci-fi stuff. Um, yeah, They Never Woke Up is a very very short. I think it's like 1,200 words. Um, it's in this universe. I have like four or five stories. The second one is going to come out in Bizarchives 4, but They Never Woke Up was in Bizarchives 1, and it's part of this universe called Dome. And Dome it's actually in the cosmology. It's related to Grim Earth. It's like the far future of Grim Earth. That's like some deep lore stuff that you guys
Oh,
can.
interesting. Didn't know
Yeah,
that.
yeah. It's all tied together. But in Dome, effectively, uh, Earth. It's an Earthbound sci-fi. They don't go into space. Earth has been completely just obliterated by nuclear war. Right. What happened in this world is there was a crazy nuclear war. A nuclear winter ensued. Uh, Most of the Earth's living inhabitants died, went extinct, plants, everything. And what happened was there was this a bunch of scientists got together and created this gene editing technology with the help of this AI called Ascension that was used to accelerate the evolution of human beings so they could adapt to this new irradiated planet. And they did it. They shot it up into everything alive, so it wouldn't completely collapse and turn into a dead Earth. So what happened was, yes, it accelerated evolution, so all of the living creatures could adapt. Also, what happened is in their adaptation, they became completely monstrous. Right? There were everything pretty much turned into horrible mutated monsters and carnivorous creatures and excuse me, a lot of the human beings that didn't have didn't make it into the new civilization ended up in the wastes and became mongrelized and got hideous, and it's just craziness. So what they developed was what they call I can't remember what I call it, but it's effectively they live in these like energized domes that have like this little like ecology in it. And these domes, while they are better than being out in the irradiated wasteland, are still pretty grim. They have a caste system of people that it's based off the Germanic caste system. You have the underborn that live below the partition. The partition is like where the nice part is separated from the shitty part, right?
Yeah.
So you have the underborn, and there's like different levels of underborn too, and they live in different areas, et cetera, et cetera. Some of them live like deep, not underground, but because everything is built up. And when they built these domes, they've been stuck in this dome for thousands and thousands of years. They just build new stuff on top of new stuff. So if you want to go down to the earth, you have to go down through like hundreds of floors, stories of like abandoned buildings, right? It's all completely built on abandoned buildings, and it's like really. I think I describe it as more of a erratic fungal colony than anything built by humanoids, like a crowded teeth of a mongrel's mouth and stuff like that. And it's all completely like neon lights with like black steel, and like it's just like it's like a grim place, right? Um, and at the top you have who is called the Drighton, and the Drighton is like this king that has been in his lineage, his patrilineal lineage has gone back like super long, and he is part of and then uh, the kind of like noble class around him are called the Carls, and the Carls are all related to him. So you have this kind of like upper crust of these people that do their best to try to maintain order in this really horrible world, and they run into their own problems and everything like that. But as a whole, the Drighton is a good guy. He's a very good guy, and the Carls, for the most part, are good guys. But they're outnumbered something like 1,000 to 1 in this thing. There's only like 20,000 people that are part of the upper crust, and then like 1 billion people beneath them. So that's like what it's like, and then what
Yeah,
was
that's
the
like,
story? What were we talking about again?
She has arrived, right? She has arrived as like kind of set at the top of these.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I think the first one is kind of set down below, isn't it? Like in on the surface, if you like, and then she has arrived all at the treetops, so to speak, on top of these giant buildings, with them looking below at all the pathetic wreckage of the
Exactly.
earth below.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a dark one. It's not a feel good story. I don't believe that one's released yet, is it? But
No, it's good. It's going to be coming out. Yeah. They never
it's gonna
woke
feel
up.
pretty horrible when you read that one. Like, to anyone listening, that's a treat.
That might be the most like horrible tragedy I've ever written.
Yeah, I like it though. I love it. And another one I love, which I don't believe is in this universe, but I could be wrong, is Parables of the Biomancer. Right? That's
Oh yeah.
yeah, I love that one. That's like some true biopunk stuff, and that one's going to be coming out actually in Aegeon, I believe. Shout out Aegeon.
Yep. Shout out Mr. Hurd. His
Yeah, Aureus Press, that's our guy. If you like sci-fi and you're into your like sci-fi short stories and stuff, and you wish there was more of it, then there's a guy doing it, Brendan Hurd, Aureus Press, Aegeon. That's Aegeon. You can find that on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing stories in there, and I think me and Dave and a few of our fellow Bizarcangs will be contributing to that and sending some stories his way.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, Parables of the Biomancer was like a one-off that I wrote. It's that's also another. I just can't help but write like these grim, gruesome stories. I'm gonna switch it up and write something a little more lighthearted pretty soon. But because I feel like anytime people see my name now, they're like, all right, we're in for a train wreck. You know what I mean? So yeah, Parables of the Biomancer is my take on like the old school pulp kind of mad science, right? Old school pulp had a lot of these stories of these like scientists that were like geniuses that went too far with technology and science and created man-made horrors beyond our comprehension. And I wanted to write something like this because I see too much progressive sci-fi out there. So I wrote this, and I kind of modeled it after something like a Lovecraft kind of story framing, where it's his manifesto, right? The Parables of the Biomancer is his manifesto, and it's not a real long read; it's kind of a short read. But he describes his discoveries and how he reaches this thing, and he believes himself to be you just got to read it. It's pretty. It's one of the crazier stories I've written.
Yeah, I love that one. Like, that'll be coming out in probably Aegeon 3. And in the chat, we have a recovering libertarian. Congratulations on that. A recovering libertarian asking whether there are audio books. I don't believe there are right now, are there? But
No.
we've heard the call before, and I think it would be there's too many different stories, isn't that, to like get a full audiobook up. But I think you reading Lex would be a bit of a treat, to be honest. Even if you just do one as a treat, like just in all of your emphasis and stuff in that accent that you have and the way you talk. Reading one of the Lex stories out loud, man, and just upload it to YouTube. I think it would be a real treat.
Yeah, maybe I'll do one of the shorter ones for folks.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do like an exclusive one that doesn't hit print or something.
That would be cool, actually. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think audiobooks are a ton of work, aren't they? And we can dream, right? Absolutely, at some point in the future.
Yeah, they are. They're a
Yeah, really
really
out.
big undertaking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and shout out to Grimdark Half Off. I believe that me and Mr. Grimdark Half Off are going to be teaming up on a stream up here pretty soon. So shout out to him.
What's that stream going to be about?
Mr. Donald Kent wants to bring us both on to yak about various things that both of us are. Guys, go subscribe. Grimdark Half Off is an excellent channel. He does deep dives into Conan lore and all kinds of stuff. Really good channel.
I'll go and see that. I'll go and subscribe to that guy. And so just back onto sci-fi. Like, who are your favorite sci-fi authors? Like, did anyone inspire you to write those stories, or like any universes in particular, or who are your favorite sci-fi guys?
My favorite sci-fi guys. I think that the best sci-fi work ever written is Dune.
Hell yeah!
I think Frank Herbert is the greatest sci-fi writer of all time.
Yeah, me and you spoke out about Dune for about half an hour on my Bizarcast, I think.
Yeah, Dune is great. I like a lot of the OG pulp stuff. I am really, and the pulp purists might come at me about this, but I love the Warhammer 40K books,
awesome.
the short stories and the Horus Heresy, and that stuff is so cool, man. It's so like exhilarating and masculine and brutal, and it's just fucking badass. I really like. Who else do I like? I mean, I don't know. Sci-fi. I'm so critical. There's like certain authors that I think are good sometimes, and I just don't like them other times. So there's not really like a singular or a lot of authors that do sci-fi that I would point to. I love I like a lot of Philip K. Dick stuff. I like Gibson, Neuromancer. I really liked Snow Crash, but I couldn't get into this other stuff. I like Heinlein. I like some Bradbury's okay. I can't get into Asimov. I think Asimov.
Yeah, I haven't really read that. You get pointed to it a lot, don't you? Like, especially maybe when you don't know as much about sci-fi. Like, for me, it was when I read Dune, and I was like, oh, what more epic science fiction can I be reading? You know what I mean? I'm searching on Google and that, and I was like, oh, read this Foundation. You know what I mean? Asimov, that's what you've got to read. And I was like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I
still haven't read it today, and I don't really have any plans to be honest.
Dune blows it out. If you've read Dune, don't even worry about Foundation.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's not something I was going to tackle, but yeah, Philip K. Dick, 100%. You should go and read that. Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep's awesome, and it's like kind of different to Blade Runner the film. I think it's mostly the same, right? But there's some really cool stuff in that in that book that I think if you're a fan of Blade Runner, you shouldn't just overlook the book. It's not one of those where you're like, I've seen the film, I'll not bother with the book.
Yeah, completely different experience.
Sweet book, yeah, and you kind of get a bit more of the reason why it's called like Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, about like the whole fake animals being like a substitute for real animals, and like anyone that owns a real animal, it's like a status symbol and stuff, right? There's all that sort of stuff in there that just doesn't really make it to the film.
Yeah,
100% worth reading, and Philip K. Dick has just a ton of other good stuff too.
Yeah, tremendous, just brilliant man. But it's sci-fi, and also the pulp purists are probably gonna blast me. Some of you guys might empathize. I was born in 1987. I grew up with Terminator. I grew up with Demolition Man. I grew up with RoboCop. I grew up with these movies.
Awesome.
The Alien 1 and 2. These movies, The Thing, a lot of the 80s, 90s sci-fi movies were huge for me.
Yeah, I love all those. I love The Thing. I love Terminator and RoboCop, obviously. What was the other one you said as well? Alien 1 and 2, man. Incredible.
Brilliant.
Love it. I like pretty much all of them, to be honest. Some of them do get a bit like crap and trashy like later on, like Aliens and stuff. But like, I think if you like it, you'll still enjoy yourself. You know what I mean? Aliens is still a fun film, man. I like it. What did you think about like Prometheus and Covenant? Did you like those ones?
I actually liked Prometheus. I
Yeah, me
thought
too.
I'm not gonna. I know it's, you know, put your guns down. Put your guns down.
No,
I'll be
this is
full.
where everyone signs off.
I know it's not the. I know it's not the popular take, but I did really like Prometheus. I thought it was a great film. I thought it was super weird, and it was just. I thought it was the ending was great. I thought it was a great movie.
Yeah, man, it is. I quite like Covenant as well, even though like they are kind of just going in a completely different direction with that. But it's a cool direction. Maybe it just shouldn't have been like an alien film, like a sci-fi film that had Covenant's premise, which I'll not ruin because it's just going to spoil it straight away. But like, it's a cool film. It just maybe isn't Alien, but I really like that one.
Another one I really liked that I was really surprised by. I believe it came out like 2008 or something like that. It's called Pandorum.
No, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, that was
It's
really good.
Pandorum with an RU on the end.
Yeah, Pandorum. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
God.
Trick D says Pandorum with Dennis Quaid. Really, really great film. The ending blew my mind. I can, movies. I can almost always predict what the ending is probably going to be, or like one of different results. This one actually blew me out. I was like, I didn't see that coming at all. That was great, right? It was really, really good.
Oh, sweet! Don't spoil it. I'm going to watch that one. I'm going to
Yeah,
download that.
you're
I
gonna
mean,
like
I'm going to procure it by totally legal means. Sorry, and watch that. That sounds really good.
Yeah. Yep. And also, one more. I really love. There's this film. It's called Enemy Mine. I can't remember who's at. That might be another Dennis Quaid. I can't remember who's in that. But it's about this spacefarer soldier guy who crash lands on this planet, and there's also another person or creature that crash lands there. It's an intelligent alien, and they start out hunting and fighting each other, and then ending up teaming up for in survival. And it's actually a really great film.
Yeah, I'll add that one to the list too. That's another one I haven't seen. That one's went under my radar. I'm just googling it now, and it is Dennis Quaid again. Yes, sweet. I'll give those a look. Right. Well, we'll move off sci-fi. So I think another thing people might not know about you is you have a burgeoning collection of weird poetry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you've been writing these now and again, and I think you're looking to put together a collection, are you not?
Yep, I've got a. I'm chipping away at it. I wanted to get it done by this winter. I don't know. I'm not writing them fast enough. So whenever it's done, it's done. It'll come out. It's gonna be called The Weird Works of Dave Martel. It's gonna be all my weird poetry, and
Yeah, Lovecraft wrote a ton of weird poetry, didn't he? Like this is a tradition that goes back to the start of weird fiction. Really, it's like the fungi from Yoggoth and stuff. You know what I mean? Is it Yoggoth? Yeah, fungi from Yoggoth. All these like really strange poems that I think you might be continuing in the same vein of. I've read some of them; they're awesome.
thank you.
You got the like mixed in with the kind of dark turbo violence aspect of your other stories as well. It's a unique combination, especially for poetry. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to reading the full collection. But I mean, sorry to put you on the spot, but would you care to recite one for the fans?
Sure.
Yeah,
Let me try to pull one up here real quick.
yeah, man.
Let me see here. There's a few of them that I can actually recite from memory at this point.
Nice.
That's something you mentioned about how it's like an old tradition. That's something that I think so too. All of the old pulp guys, whether we're talking Lovecraft or Howard or Clark Ashton Smith or whatever, all of the weird authors, the weird fiction authors, were also poets. It was like part of the whole tradition. So that's something that there's quite a few other pulp fiction short form publication. Not a lot, but there's more coming out. It's kind of a blossoming, exploding thing. Nobody, at least to my knowledge, is doing the weird poetry. So I wanted to throw it out there because I love poetry. I especially love Robert E. Howard is my favorite poet of all time. I think like I think he's like the greatest poet of all. Like you could be like, well, Poe deserves to be in the conversation too. But for me, in the Book of Dave, if you said you have to take one book of poetry with you to the desert island for the rest of your life, it would be the collected works of Robert E. Howard. That like I wouldn't even think twice. But yeah, so I really
I
like.
heard you talking about Robert E. Howard's poetry. I think it was maybe on Morgcast or something. You talked about is like your wife comes down and you're all sweaty, just like I've been reading Robert E. Howard's poetry.
Because he was a dragon. He's just so much like oomph in what he says, between his alliteration and the use of words that he uses, right? It's just like, it's like in one poem he goes, over us stalk the bellowing gods, where the dusk and the twilight sever. Under their iron goatish hooves, they crunch our skulls forever. It's like, oh man, it just like gets you so riled up. But
that is so much cooler than poetry about flowers and shit, man. That is awesome. That
yeah, growing up, I read this kind of stuff. I love the weird poetry. My first favorite poet was Poe, right? And then like
awesome,
I got into like I tried getting into like Frost and T.S. Eliot and like those guys. And I was like, this is gay. Where's the monsters and the diseases, the black magic? Where's the weird shit? Where's the fucking where's the Cyclops and the like? I don't know. I just thought I just don't want. I'm very disinterested in mundane art that's just like mundane, like oh, I'm fucking so sad because my wife's a bitch, or oh man, the sky is blue and the grass is green, let's jerk each other off. I just think it's boring. So
yeah,
and I'm nothing against people that write like that. This is just me talking from my preferences. So I like to write stuff that people probably haven't heard before, and not only do I not like do any sort of introspection, like I mean, I just don't think people should care about how I feel about the world. Instead, I try to tell stories about weird, fucked up, made up places with monstrous races that want to take over the world and all this kind of shit. So
absolutely based. That might get more young people interested in poetry, man. Like I think people do describe poetry as a bit of a dying art form. And it's like, well, yeah, it got really fucking boring, didn't it? Like, like some of these poems only really appeal to like a very small section of the population. Maybe if they were about cyclopses tearing people in half, more people would be reading it, man.
Yeah,
I'd
I
be
think
reading it,
so. Yeah, I think so. I guess I can recite one.
Yeah, go
And
ahead. Yeah.
I got a new one too. How about we could do two real quick?
Yeah.
So like I said, not only because the ancient poetry was an oral tradition, so I've taken it upon myself to try to memorize the poems that I write so I can recite them and like orate them for people if they ask. You know what I mean?
Excellent. Yeah, man.
Yeah. So I wrote this poem because when I started Bizarchives, my main goal is I wanted to spark imagination in people again. Because I believe that there is a realm of imagination, and you'll see me reference this in all kinds of stuff that I do. I believe that there's this realm of imagination where the gods put the inspirational generative energy into, and we draw from it. And I picture it in my head as being this like crazy place of wonder and beauty and terror and catastrophe and all of the above, all of the things vibrant and absurd, all just swirling and toiling together in this primeval boiling stew of craziness. And that's what I picture the dream sea to be. So when I started out with, and if you guys have read Bizarchives too, I wrote my intro for there. It's called The Silver Key, and I talk about it. Opening be that the silver key that opens the door to the realm of imagination where all possibilities are, where we draw our inspiration to do great things like go to outer space or climb mountains or invent things or whatever. Every single person, every single great man that has done great things was inspired by his imagination. He dreamed of these deeds before he did it. And I think that today They have methodically cut imagination from young people like it was a malignant tumor, and now has turned everybody into a bunch of mundane, milky-eyed, just like husks that no longer dream, and that makes me sick. So when I created the Bizarchives, I was like, this might not be the best stuff that has ever been written. It might not change the world, but if I can sell some of these books, and if I can get like 100 or a couple hundred people to like get back in touch with the imagination that made the world mysterious and wonderful and life to be interesting, if I can like get that little bit of imagination toiling again in people's souls and in their hearts, then that is a fucking victory. And I wrote this poem because, yeah. Oh, you said based. I'm sorry.
That's it. That could have been the poem, man. I'm riled up. I'm stirred. That was awesome.
So I wrote this poem. It's called "Into the Dream Scene." It goes. Hopefully, I don't fuck this up. So it goes. I've seen black thirst of vengeance, carried by hateful wings, to ebon moons of far-flung worlds where goatish devils sing. Hang on. I've plunged jagged chasm voids that vomit molten earth, geysers belching bile bursts, steaming vile birth. I've thrusted sharpened blades into 1,000 breasts, relish every time I see the panicked eyes of death. I care not for the luxuries of song and silken feast. Gift me stampeding quired hate of 100 hungered beasts. Then take me to the shaman's grove with hung corpses on display. Frenzied dances, bloody rites, forgotten magic ways. Then pass me ghastly goblets, forged from wizards' bones. Let the elixir melt my mind as I sit on broken thrones. Then teach me long-lost legends, scried on long-lost tombs, in the blood of slaughtered kings who met untimely dooms. Then I return to mundane world with maddened magic tales, and I write them down for others, for the dream sea they may sail. The end.
That's incredible.
Fucked up a couple times in the beginning, but
Nah, it's you can tell when you get into it, it just sort of comes naturally, doesn't it? That's awesome. That's really cool. I'm well up for reading a whole novel of this stuff, a whole collection.
you want? I got one more. This is the
Oh
newest
yeah,
one that I wrote.
good one.
I was a little funny on this one, So so let me know what you guys think. I think it's gonna go in. I kind of like it now. So this is called the Maltherial Swarm. I gaze deeply into the blackest black and witness forms arcane. Phantom nails my brain a rack, ancient tongues curse profane. Amoebic shadows writhe and rot, twist and fold upon themselves, from a realm that man forgot beneath abyssal purple hells. I lean before the scrying glass, a waking eldritch dream. Horrid songs and spells are cast to beckon things obscene. The mirror's misty mystery, my melting mind malformed. The barren black so blissfully renders me reborn. What was me no longer is. In my soul the larva bore, a willing host so onerous, sailing from this mortal shore. My psychic depth, a fertile womb, from bursting skull they hatch. Amorphous, nameless, crawling doom, all parts of me detach. Nirvanic state, where life dissolves, reality unweaves. Humanity, a problem solved. Go forth, my brood. It's time to feed.
Nice.
What do you
That's
think?
awesome.
Is that one any good?
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm telling you, on back onto the audiobook thing. That's the audiobook, man. You need to read all these poems out because like you delivering them is just inspirational, man. That's great
Thank you,
stuff.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, we've got Arturi's popped up in the chat. Hello, shout out Arturi Cavella, amazing artist. He did the Bizarchives 3 cover.
Yeah, it's
And
much too.
Bill Aithling's also in the chat. That's a name I recognise from certain other streams and also the Bizarcast. He's saying it's great to hear from you again. He's looking forward to the poetry collection. And is there a collection of Robert E. Howard's poetry available?
Oh, tons. Just type it in and it'll come up.
Awesome. There's your answer, Bill. He's also saying the scald, amazing made and powerfully narrated.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.
it.
It's like I know the weird poetry is a little offbeat for people because it's not something that has been popular for a long time. So it doesn't really get a whole lot of fanfare. But I appreciate you guys that tune in and hear me recite my crazy poems and like all that stuff. I just love doing it. So I just appreciate you guys.
Yeah, awesome stuff. All right, I think we just have a few more things to cover, man. We should talk about the obelisk a bit, which is the Bizarchives blog.
Hell yeah.
Should all go and check out the Bizarchives blog, and we do post sort of exclusives to paid members. I can't remember what's the subscription. It's not much, is it?
So you can do $5 a month, or you can do a whole year for $50 in one shot. And I send you ebooks. You get free ebooks to read on your Kindle, whatever you got. We have a series called Paranormal Transmissions. It's been slowing down. Not a lot of people have been sending stuff, but it's like eyewitness accounts of people had with the paranormal, all kinds of stuff, unpublished stories. But then there's also a lot of really great articles. Shout out to Pulp Archivist and our boy Arbogast. They're like legit, like the best columnists. They're like my favorite guys to read, like out there. They write such cool, entertaining, like cool pulp archivist, like brings up these like really old school pulps. Like he just did one on Doc Savage and the Infernal Buddha, which is like, I was like, I've never heard of this shit.
And he's a scholar. He's a true pulp scholar. Like
he's a scholar.
I thought I knew about pulp until I read some of this stuff. I was like, wow, he's really been digging.
Yeah, and then we got Arbogast, who's just like, he's so funny and like he's just a great writer, great columnist. Good. He's in Bizarcast 3 too with his story. What story's in there? Master of the House.
Yeah, Master of the House. That's not a very funny story at all. Fairly sort of body horror, very unsettling.
Pretty spooky.
Yeah, nice story though. I really like that one.
Yeah, great stuff. So yeah, the obelisk is like, I don't know, it's like one of the best parts of what we do. I think it's really, really great. We have like over 200 subscribers over there. So go to the obelisk.substack.com and check it out. It's not like a lot of guys, they like start up their whatever. And we also have podcasts on there. Not a lot, but once in a while I fire up the mic and talk about something Bizarchives related or Pulp Fiction related and send it out to everybody. You get all the updates. At the very least, you got to go over and sign up for free.
Yeah, at least have a look at the free articles. I wrote one on the story Dredge that's in the Cosmic Horror double feature. That was interesting. I actually went down to the fens where it was set, and there was this big massive engine which I was kind of researching to write Dredge, and like it's open like every once in a while as a museum, and I went down there basically. Went down there and had a look around the museum, took some photographs with my girlfriend, and that was awesome. Yeah, that's a whole write up on there with loads of photographs and stuff from that. If you enjoyed the double feature, go and read that. I think that's a free article. Tons of free articles about like old cool pulp stuff. If you want to subscribe, you're getting all this exclusive stuff. There's stories that we publish on there that won't ever be published in print and stuff like this. Really cool thing to go and look at. I think you made a merch store as well for the Bizarchives.
Yeah,
we have a T-shirt and a vest.
Yeah, we got some pretty cool merch over there. We got like Bizarchives logo stuff. You get muscle shirts or T-shirts or whatever. It's through Spreadshirt, but we try to use all like American made stuff that they do. We got one that's got Lovecraft on it. That has like I made the design and it says Eldritch AF on it. That's a big seller. We sell the Eldritch as fuck muscle shirt. There's probably like
vest. I've got that. I've got that shit.
You got the Eldritch as fuck?
Yeah, the vest. Yeah, man, I wear it to lift weights.
Yeah. There's probably a bunch of bizarre Kang chads, some pulp chads out there like just flexing on the normies at the gym with their Eldritch as fuck muscle shirts. We also got some other designs there. It's just really cool, retro, old school style shit. It's American made. It helps us out, So if you want a Bizarchives shirt, one of our Bizarchives designs, go over and grab yourself some Bizarchives merch.
Yeah, I was wearing just the logo T-shirt in a bakery in Yorkshire. The guy behind the till who's like serving me a fucking pastry or a muffin or something. I can't remember what it was, but it was just like, "What's the Bizarchives, man?" And like I was just telling him about it, and he like got out a little paper and a pen, and he was like, "I'm gonna check that out." I was like, "Yeah, man, make sure you do, absolutely."
Oh yeah.
So, awesome. Wear a Bizarchives top and help the project. It'd be awesome. And
Yeah, it's
yeah, we also
really
have a
growing.
little Telegram chat that's like kind of open to all if you're a fan. Bizarre chat, and I can never remember how to get people the invite link to this thing, but maybe after this is up and a few people have listened, you could post the invite link.
Yeah,
I
all you have to do is go to t.me/the Bizarchives and click on like the like comment thing, and then just go join chat. And you can
Yeah,
go chat with the Bizarchives guys, and they're always in there spurging about different different books or movies, or just a lot of great conversation. I talk about music and aesthetics and all kinds of stuff. Really
yeah,
cool
we're
stuff.
all in there. I'm in there pretty much every day, having a chat, and yeah, you get people all the time. I see there's some links in the chat there to the spread shop and the obelisk, but maybe well, once this goes up, just post all of these links out on the Telegram and make sure people know where to go for the merch and the blog.
Sure.
And I think we're pretty much onto the wrap up. Is there anything else you want to talk about? What any general Bizarchives chatter? What might be coming up, or any of your other stuff like the bog or anything that you want to talk about?
Well, first I want to say thanks, AC, for doing this. This is
No worries, thank
you're
you. Man.
you're right. It's like I'm usually the guy talking, and I have a lot of stuff that I'm doing that I want to talk about, and I feel kind of like a douche, like just promoting my own stuff. You know what I mean? So
No worries.
so I like to coming on and yakking about the stuff that I'm working on and everything. But Bizarchives, man, we're really crushing it. We're doing good. We are, as far as our sales go, we are in the top 10% of publishers as with the book sales that we do. Right. So we're like really, really growing. We're not at the point that we're like, Penguin Books or anything even close to that. We're still kind of like,
Yeah, they're
pretty,
top 0.1%, right? Like, but
yeah,
yeah, to be in the
yeah.
top 10 1 year in is really incredible.
Is like astronomical. And it's because of you guys out there that buy the books, leave reviews, go hard for us and everything like that. And we're growing, as AC said, man. It's not like this is like for everybody, man. I get I go out, I talk to people, they're like, yeah, I spark up conversations about it, and they just think it looks so cool. They buy books. I'll go look at the reviews on our page. That's not just our friends, I mean, that's readers. That's guys out there and that we don't even know that are like reading our books and liking it. And it's just so exciting to be a part of it. Coming out this month, we have what do we got coming out? So our next book coming out is a novella from Shane Hawkes, the guy that wrote Baby Teeth in Bizarchives 1. He has a novella coming out. It is one of the weirdest, most grotesque cosmic horror stories that's been written, probably since Cosmic Horror Double Feature. It's you guys that liked AC's double feature are going to like this. It's called The Molybdus Articulate. It is weird, and there are parts that will make your skin crawl. There's gross stuff. There's weird otherworldly entities. There's occultism. It's freaky. It's crazy. That's coming out. We also have from Arbogast, we have the Shanghai Horror, which is coming out. It's like a detective novel with supernatural horror. It's set in China. Like it's really interesting. Really good detective story. What else we got coming out? We got
Yeah, I
some.
wrote a sci-fi one recently, another novella called
Yup.
Spire, which it's in very early stages at the moment. We don't have a cover for it or anything yet, but that'll be
Yes. Yep.
Um,
Spire. That's probably gonna be a couple months.
Yeah,
for
that'll be a
Inspired.
while. That one. There's a lot in the pipeline, isn't there? But yes, and Bizarcast 4, of course, at some point.
Yep, Bizarchives 4 is it might be the most horror laden, terrifying issue we've done so far.
Hell yeah. I think that's what a lot of our readers enjoy, so that's good stuff. See the Aureus Press in the chat there. Hello, Brendan.
Yeah, my boy Brendan.
You tuned in.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you've been listening the whole time, but we were giving Aegeon a bit of a shout out before. That's some incredible stories in there.
Yeah, sci-fi fans, go over to aegeon-sci-fi.com. Aegeon 2 just dropped. I'm waiting for it. It might be at my door right now. So I'm going to be digging into that today. And then that's Bizarchive stuff, guys. Buy books, follow us on social media, get involved, get some merch, come chat with us, hang out with us, celebrate this awesome, fun pulp awakening that's going on. It's not just us, man. Go on like Twitter and go look around, look up pulp, look up hashtag Iron Age, and you will find that there is like a huge literary movement going on with the reawakening of pulp, and the Bizarchives is like the forefront of the weird fiction. So it's an exciting time to be creating culture. We're winning. We're crushing it. We're blowing out the institutions, all the woke pause, compromised, industries and corporations. We're blowing them out, right? So it's like
we're gonna win, and it feels good.
We're gonna win. It feels good, and in the culture war, we're really pushing out. So congratulations and hails and blessings to everybody. And I just appreciate everybody. I'm having fun, man. I'm having fun.
Me too. We're all having fun, and it's great. I love being part of this project. It's changed lives, to be honest. Certainly changed my life since I've been involved in this. I'd like to say a massive thank you to you, Dave, for being the figurehead pretty much the whole time, for having the idea, for starting off the project. So I'm sure everyone else will join me and say thanks, Big Dave.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's about it. Unless you got anything else.
No, that's what else I got a video game project coming out. I got it's Bizarchives is helping fund it. It's called Legends of Hyperborea. Wolf Shield Films is creating a film adaptation of Baby Teeth, which I might actually be in the movie.
Nice.
We got so much, man. We're working hard for everybody, man. We got tired of complaining about the state of things. This all really started. I was on social media and I was in a comment section. I was like, wow, this sucks. And some smarmy libtoad retard said, oh, go make your own. I was like, deal. Fuck around and find out. And now they're at the find out.
Brilliant. Yeah, I look forward to that. I'll certainly be given was it Legends of Hyperborea? Hyborea? Hyperborea, Legends of Hyperborea. I'll certainly be giving that a spin when it comes out.
Very cool.
Yeah, man.
All right, so let's close it out here. AC is hosting, but I'm still producing on my end. So let me see here. I'm still getting used to this freaking stream. There we go. All right, everybody, hails and blessings.
Yep.